effective piece of writing? Well, I suppose a good beginning, a good middle and a good end.
I think something that gets the imagination of the reader, so something that's got a lot of description, something that pulls you in to the piece of writing.
Shakespeare never wrote the works he wrote for examination purposes. He wrote them for people to enjoy. But I think there has to be certain rules within writing that are essential.
If I see something that's been published or has been given to me and it's got spelling mistakes, grammar errors, whatever, it just makes me think a lot less of the actual subject.
Obviously it depends on what kind of writing it is, whether it's creative or informative. You've got to make sure that you're using the right kind of language for it.
I think it's probably the inspiration behind it. I don't find it effective unless I find it inspirational.
I don't think I would be nearly so effective as a writer of prose if I hadn't also written a great deal of verse. I know a great deal of poetry by heart. Poetry thrives on rules, it thrives on restrictions. It's a piece of language which, as well as saying something, makes a pattern of some sort. It can be a rhyming pattern, but it does something with the language which isn't only the meaning of the words, it's something else as well. Because it constricts one part of your mind and frees another. That's what happens.
Just to warm ourselves up, what are the particular special effects that if you're writing poetry you can use? Just a quick momentary discussion. Yeah. We're going to just quickly collect a list up here. What are the particular special effects that you can call upon? Good.
Onomatopoeia.
Personification.
Alliteration.
Rhyme.
Rhythm.
Metaphors.
Hard, soft sounds.
You can add full stops to make the poem slower.
Okay, it's a good point there, and I'm going to put that one down at the bottom here. I'm just going to put the word punctuation. You can actually use the punctuation within the poem, as you've suggested, to make it slower. Commas, full stops, exclamation marks for emphasis, so on and so forth. The other trick that you can do, of course, is by deciding where you will end the line, whether it's going to be long line or short line, and also breaks between verses, because that again will indicate where people might need to take a pause when they're reading. We need the focus. We're going to perhaps gather some similes. We're going to change those into metaphors, and we'll look at how that's done in a moment. And I'm going to put the word personification over here because it's a very powerful device, metaphorical device for bringing things alive and creating atmosphere. I'm also going to put the word ideas there because we may have some other ideas that we can use in a piece of writing. Let's just experiment a little bit by going across here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the moon. And the sort of moon I'm thinking of is this sort. Quick, hands up, I want to see some images. Come on, yes?
It's the letter C.
Letter C. Let's pile them up. Let's have a few more images. Over here, yes.
If you turn it like that, it's kind of like a mouth.
Like a mouth. Is it a happy mouth or a sad mouth?
A happy one.
Which way round? Okay, so we got a mouth. I'm going to use your mouth idea, but I'll just hear a few more because it's good to get the brain going. Daisy.
A fingernail.
A fingernail. Excellent. A very thin fingernail.
A banana.
A banana. Yellow banana. Moves like a yellow banana. Good. You've got another one. Yes.
A hairband.
A hairband. Excellent idea. And we'll take one more at the back.
A lunar rainbow.
A lunar rainbow. Excellent idea. I'm going to stay with the mouth one. Okay, we're creating a scene, all right? So in about 10 minutes, you'll be doing this yourselves. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to think of a few things you can see in your scene. Let's imagine in the scene I can see the moon. I've got a simile, like a mouth. If I want to turn it into a metaphor, do you know how I move from a simile into a metaphor? What do I need to do?
Is a mouth instead of like a mouth.
Okay, excellent. All we need to do to change the simile into the metaphor is to actually get rid of that word like. I'm saying it's not just like a mouth, I'm saying the moon is a mouth, and that is more powerful. Now, what do mouths do? What do mouths do?
They eat.
Is it getting near lunchtime? You're beginning to sort of vaguely get a rumbling from down below. Go for it, yes?
Yawn.
Yawn, excellent. Let's just take a few.
They talk.
They talk. Can you give me a more powerful verb instead of talk? You lot do a lot of it, probably.
They chat.
Okay, they chat. Let's take one more. You had your hand up.
No one's going to say that.
Going to say, can you think of another verb instead of talk? You talk, you chat, you...
Whisper.
Yeah, okay, we'll take whisper. Right, we've got a few ideas there. The moon is a mouth. I'm going to drop down here, and I need to use one of these words. Somebody come up with an idea. 5 seconds conversation about this quickly. I want a short, tight line using one of those ideas. The moon is a mouth, da-da-da-da-da. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, we've got some ideas just here.
That yawns to the stars.
That yawns to the stars. Let's get that in, that's excellent. The moon is a mouth that yawns. Do you want me to carry on there or drop down? That yawns
to the stars below.
Below. Why did you say below? Shall I tell you what I think? The moon is a mouth that yawns. Now, if you put that yawns on one line, that gives it real strength and emphasis. So you're really emphasising that yawn. The moon is a mouth that... So you're going to put a few things, 2 or 3 things down, then turn them into similes. A branch is like. Change that into the metaphor. Don't worry about the crossings out, just do it. Then brainstorm a few ideas, personification and other ideas. And then you can start creating in this way. So just finish off the bit that you're doing. Then I'd like you to reread what you have written in order to make sure that it flows, so that if I say to you, I'd like to hear yours, please, you don't stutter over it. So read it through. Okay, we're going to move into the plenary, the last bit now. And I'd certainly like to be interested to hear a few bits that people have written. Just before we do that, what I'd like you to do is to select, out of the 3 or 4 that you've done, select 1 or 2 that you're particularly pleased with, and then next door neighbour will read to you. When you do that, I would like you to comment. And I would like you to comment on anything that you think was particularly effective, that was really good. And just to demonstrate that, I'd like Richard, I'd like you to read yours out for us, please. And what we'll do is we'll all be your response partner. Richard's going to read it out, and we're going to tell him what we think's effective. So listen very carefully to this. And then we'll see if there are any places where it might be improved. But it's so good, I don't know if there will be. But okay.
The alarm clock rudely wakes the sleeping boy. His CD player whirs into life and slowly thaws out his brain. The light glares into his drowsy eyes, slowly burning away sleep's drowsy veil.
Okay, quickly discuss with next door neighbour. What did you like?
Yeah, I especially like the CD player. That was really good. I like the descriptive words he used as well.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. What did we like? Stick your hands up. Come on, I want to see more hands this time. Over here, what did you like?
The CD player whirring.
It wasn't whirring, it was whirs, wasn't it? Yeah. Now, just pause on this, because this is actually quite an important writing point. He had the CD player whirs. And that is actually tighter than whirring. The CD player whirring. That ing bit you don't need. The CD player whirs. It makes it more dramatic. So that was good. I agree with you. Whirs was good. Any other bits that we like?
Slowly thaws out his brain.
Slowly thaws. It was the word thaws, but also starting with that adverb. Slowly thaws out his brain. Excellent. Matthew, what did you like?
I liked it when the light was dazzling his eyes.
Yes. Can you read us that bit again, Richard? The light...
The light glares into his drowsy eyes, slowly burning away sleep's drowsy veil.
Okay, some really good bits there that I liked. Any out of all of that, anything that you would say, I think you might need to rethink that? Any bit where an improvement might be made? Richard's got an idea himself. He may have spotted something. What do you think?
I repeated drowsy twice in the two.
That's the bit that I was thinking about, yes. So you're going to have a think about that. Okay. In your pairs, then, you read it to your partner comments, you read back.
Stars are glittering shapes flying in the sky. They light the world and make very bright sky. Shimmering in the distance, they wave and smile. They stay in the sky for quite a while.
You've repeated sky twice.
Yeah.
Well, how could we improve? Clouds are bits of cotton wool.
Yeah.
Clouds are
Pieces of cotton wool.
yeah, that sounds a bit better, but
Pieces.
clouds are cotton wool.
The world, it dominates snow, because I've dominated sphere.
Who thinks that their partner has written something that is surprising, is different, or you think, wow, that is tremendous, and we all need to hear it straight away? So who would like to recommend their partner? So we need... so I'm going to suggest one or two people myself who I've seen. Okay, so out you come. If you'd like to, we're going to form a line down here and have a quick reading. All right, both of you two. Is it your partner? Come on then. That'll do us.
Towering fir trees are castles, dominating the parks and slightly weeping over the garden walls.
TVs are stars giving off emotional light, sometimes happy and sometimes sad. The red bricks are raw skin chapped in an ice frozen wind.
Hills are rolling fields that whisper unimagined secrets among the grass.
Cats are queens, strolling proudly down the street, glaring suspiciously at whoever they meet.
Oh, we have another blast at this. Go on.
Cats are queens, strolling proudly down the street, glaring suspiciously at whoever they meet.
What did you notice?
There was rhyme in it.
Yes, the street and the meat, and it really flowed well. It didn't sound as if he just made something up in order for the rhyme to fit in. It was excellently controlled.
Words which were rhyming also made hard sounds.
Yep, we got the meat and the street. Yes, Matthew.
I think the impression he was trying to give is that cats are walking down the street very proudly and they don't trust humans because suspiciously.
What were you pleased with in that, Andrew?
I liked the rhyme. And the rhythm of it was...
How did that happen? Did it just come, or...?
Yeah, it just came.
Sometimes it just comes by accident. Good, thank you.
Well, one thing that people on the whole don't recognise about prose is that it has rhythm. Good prose.
Okay, this is Alistair's. Let's have a look at this one here. Bob sat silently drawing while his wife fed the baby. I think we might add a comma. Yeah, it could be whilst his wife fed the baby. A shadow then filled the room. Something large had passed the window. Bob, dropping his drawing, sat paralysed. First of all, anything we like in that? A few comments on what you like, and any places where it might be improved. Have a quick discussion with the person next to you.
I think the shadow had filled the room.
Okay, come back together. Back together. Right, first of all, things that we liked. When you're responding to somebody else, it's very important that you always begin with what you like. I don't want to talk over the top of people. Imogen.
I like the word paralysed.
Yes, that was very effective at the very end. Very powerful Isha.
I like the way that he hid what the shadow was.
Yes, he says a shadow then filled the room. Something large had passed the window. There's a little bit of mystery in there. And because we're in the middle of a story, that may, well, almost certainly, because it's been mentioned, something or other's out there. And so something is going to happen, mysterious, we don't know what it is. So it's actually hidden, whatever it is. So I thought that was an interesting technique. Anything else, Daisy?
I think you could cross out then, so you could have a shadow filled the room.
Okay, so we're now moving into improvements. We'll take that there. A shadow filled the room. Yep. Any other improvements that we might want to suggest? What did you do with it? Because you looked at it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
I said he had 2 drawings. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you deal with that?
I asked him to change it, and he changed it, the last one, to sketch.
Okay, so you came up with this. You thought, right, we'll change that. We'll put sketch in there. Bob, dropping his sketch, sat paralysed. You can see the simple sentence there. A shadow filled the room, and then something had passed the window. So those short sentences gaining effect for us, and then the complex sentences. Bob sat silently drawing whilst his wife fed the baby. Here it is. Bob, dropping his sketch, sat paralysed. The way he's dropped the extra bit of information in there. The fact that he's dropped the sketch shows that he's really frightened. And that adds to it because we don't know what's gone past the window. So a powerful piece of writing. We're going to hear these two and listen for anything that you thought was really effective. Okay, Imogen.
There were smiles, there were laughs, but the only person who wasn't smiling and laughing was Sally. If only her mother was there to comfort her. She stood on her own in the middle of the road, waiting for the bell of her new school to ring.
Excellent. What did you like?
I like the beginning where it said there were smiles, there were laughs.
Excellent. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The nice thing there is, actually, that was a good example of repetition. We've had examples like your one earlier and the drowsy one on the other occasion. But this actually gives impact. There were smiles, there were laughs. And then how did she introduce the next sentence really powerfully? Yes, do you remember how she introduced the third?
But the person who wasn't smiling and laughing.
Yes, she started with but, didn't she? Which is an unusual way, because normally we would say that a word like but, a conjunction like that, needs to be in the middle of a sentence. But she started it at the beginning of the sentence to get real power. There were smiles, there were laughs. But the only person who wasn't smiling and laughing was Sally. And she's used that word but to really emphasise that she's on her own, this child. Anything else you liked inside that, Alistair?
I like the way she sort of gave the story a lonely effect of sort of quiet and sort of.
You're right. You really, when you read it, you feel that the child is isolated. And I don't think you ever tell us that she felt lonely or anything like that. She's absolutely, she's left out of it. That's a cracking piece of writing. Very, very good indeed. The next one, do you want to sit down, Imogen? The next one, James is going to read to us a little bit different, perhaps not quite as clear, but he's really tussling with the language here to put across what he wants to say.
Jimmy, teeth white and gleaming, strolled along the crowded street between his 2 friends, Ashley Greenway and William Claxton. Behind his sunglasses, wrinkled and tight, and on the brink of happy tears, his eyes beamed.
Okay, so any bits in that you particularly liked?
I like the ending where it says his eyes beamed.
It's a powerful last word, isn't it? The beamed. And I think that does show that he's happy. So the tears are of happiness. There's another point over here.
I like how he describes her teeth white and gleaming.
Yes, he's dropped that information in. Jimmy, teeth white and gleaming, strolled along the crowded street. His 2 friends, Ashley Greenway, between his 2 friends, Ashley Greenway and William Claxton. And then he starts the next sentence, behind his sunglasses, wrinkled and tight. Brilliant use of language there, wrinkled and tight. And on the brink of tears, his eyes beamed to really show the happiness. So, good ending. Okay, let's just summarise, if we are to write effectively, key things we've been looking at to do with handling sentences, so that we really control the sentences in order to create the effects that we want to make. So, Lucy, what's the first point?
You can vary the openings.
Vary the openings. That is crucial. It is very dull if it's, he went down the road, he wrote it, he did this, he did that. Varying openings. A lovely example from Imogen with the use of but there so powerfully. Yeah.
Complex sentences.
Okay, using complex sentences to add in those extra layers of meaning, those extra bits of information, those explanations, for instance. And those can help us dig under the skin of a character, show, for instance, what characters are feeling. So that's the second one. Imogen, third one.
To show the reader, not to tell them.
Yes, through the use of the language, through what characters say or do, how they move, how they behave, so the reader actually reading it thinks, she's so scared. You can actually feel that she's scared, rather than saying it was creepy, she felt scared, which doesn't actually move anybody at all. And I think we had a final piece there. Yes, good.
Dropping a clause.
Yep, we did. We had dropping in clauses. So taking your sentence and then adding an extra piece of information by dropping it in. And there was another one. There was a fifth one. Yes?
Simple sentences.
Simple sentences. Why do we use simple sentences? How can they really help us? Yes, go on.
You could do it to build up suspense.
Build up suspense, to add impact, and to make dramatic points. She shook. That's all you need. Okay, so we've got the 5 main points that we've teased out there, and next time I visit we'll build on those points and be looking at the links between the paragraphs and how you actually build up through the course of the story to get that excitement and flow going.
If you want to be...
Suspense can make your story really scary if you want to write a scary story. If you want to write a story which is lively and adventure, build up character so you know what the character's like.
Reading some more challenging books has helped me because different authors have different points and different ways of writing.
If you have chance, you could sit down and just jot some notes down to plan your story, because that helps move it on. Try and read a variety of different texts, like lots of fiction and non-fiction.
If somebody is genuinely interested in writing, then get a good etymological dictionary and make a point of looking up the history of the word orange or kiosk or whatever it is that you're using. See where it comes from. See what that tells you about how the language developed. Get a good book about grammar. Become interested in the mechanics. Take a pride in the tools that you're using. Keep them sharp, keep them bright, keep them burnished.